So, Mr. Shea, we appreciate you. Can you come back onto our platform? Man, we're excited, and I hope you can take back this electricity and tell Karan we rock the house here at DJ the Money Coach.
Yeah, I've been listening to everything. It's super dope what you guys have been talking about, and happy to be here. So how are we going to do this, DJ the Money Coach? We're going to take some.
Yeah, we're just going to do it fluid, and if you want to share with them a couple of little other carrots on what the product and the service we can help them, we're going to put the link up and how we can get them onboarded. Some people are been in business for 3-4 years. Some people are literally getting started, Shay. Some are transitioning. So what we'll do is let you pop out a couple of ideas. So from somebody that's thinking the difference between an LLC to an S corp and taking elimination of self-employment tax and also Social Security, what would be the first advice you would recommend to them as the expert in the industry?
Yeah, well, I would tell them, so this thing about finances, right? There's three sides of the triangle. You have banking, which I'm on, you have legal, and you have like kind of the tax, right? So banking, legal, tax. So what I tell owners, you want to take that to your business attorney or CPA, and I would expand that question around your most three important people that you want to kind of be around. I heard a couple of our other coaches say this tonight. We want to build a good relationship with a bookkeeper, CPA, banker, and for sake of your question, attorney.
And now we're going to actually have our, master property management team that's known as Noir Invest. These gentlemen are running some very successful multi-units across the country, and they collectively have over 20-30 units personally in their business portfolio, and they also are managing our Zanzibar project.
I'll kind of just talk a little bit overview of how we financed properties. As Jonathan was saying, we've purchased cash. We've done the VA loan, so that's for primary residence. 1 to 4 unit, you can use a VA loan. So how we got started is the concept called house hacking. You probably heard of it, where you live in 1 unit and you rent out the other 3. So that's kind of how we got into the multifamily space. But the VA loan kind of allows you to have that 0% down ability.
That's really what freedom is. It's option. That's exactly what it is, Brandon. It's option. So with that, I have the option to bring you the foremost leader in starting businesses from A to Z, Dr. J.C. Baker. And the floor is yours. Take as long a time as you need to educate these awesome professionals, and sponsored by Chase Bank. And welcome to our Chase representative, Sherry Green. She's a community manager for Chase Bank here in Houston, and she's going to be working with all the small business owners through a free link that's going to be available to you guys at the end of this meeting as well. So Dr. J.C. Baker, the floor is yours, and we'll let you do what you do best. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thanks so much for allowing me to be here. Chase, thanks so much for your generous contributions and your partnership. You are certainly changing lives as it relates to understanding money and understanding their relationship with money. What goes hand in hand with that is what you do to generate revenue, to generate that money. And there's only 2 ways to do it. You either create a business and you do it for yourself, or you work for someone else that's done that. And then you take the available resources and then you leverage that in a host of ways. And in that case, that host of ways becomes the determinant.
And James is now going to give you guys a history lesson in taxes. Yours truly, James Lane Jr., our registered CPA expert extraordinaire. James, how you doing, brother? Take it away.
First thing is I'm going to talk about entities. Okay. If you're opening up a business, I am always going to recommend at the very least you open up an LLC. Okay. That limited liability corporation, the first most important thing is to limit your liability. You're invested in that company, you want to limit your liability to just your investment. You really want to have that shield so they can't come back and attack your personal assets if something goes wrong.
Next up is we're going to bring in DJ. And DJ is going to teach you about business credit.
Business credit is the credit that is obtained in your business's name. With business credit, the business builds its own credit profile and its own credit score from your EIN. The credit is in the business name and based on the business's ability to pay back and not the business owners. I'm going to tell you why that's important.
Next up, we're going to bring you systems. How many of you want to run a duplicatable business that you can walk away from, and when you come back a month later, it makes more money? You come back 6 months later, it makes more money without you being in it on a daily basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kadera Muhammad. She's the CIO of our company, and she's the founder and the CEO of Omnipotent Marketing. And if you don't get a systems person like her on your team, and you talking about you building a business, you are fooling yourself.
First thing you need is a CRM. That stands for Customer Relationship Management System. Okay, a CRM is a database. I built out a CRM for DJ. All of you, when you purchase your consultations, when you purchase whatever bundle that you got, you all came into my CRM, and that's how I was able to send out a bunch of automated messages.
All right, all right. Good evening, everyone. If you're watching this live, hello out there. If you're watching the replay, and welcome to Family Finance One-on-One Fridays with DJ the Money Coach. Brought to you by DJ the Money Coach System and the 7 Spheres of Money Systems. Thanks for joining us. And as always, before we get started, go ahead and like the video, share it, and subscribe to the DJ the Money Coach YouTube channel right here. So let's go ahead and get into the show, man. We got some powerful information for you all. You see the title, How to Body the Recession, Blacks to the Future. So yeah, I know you all are excited to hear what we have in store for you all. Yep. Good evening, Joy. Good evening, Joy. Thanks for watching. Great to have you. So, DJ, man, how you feeling tonight? And man, what are you talking about, man? With the Blacks to the Future. What is this about?
Oh man. Well, first and foremost, obviously, like we're excited, and if people don't understand, Black is the financial word for being profitable. So that's what Black to the Future means. It means for you to be profitable. And man, sounds like somebody's doing their yard. I don't know if you can you hear that noise? Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. I can hear it in the background, but it's not too loud. So
it's not too loud?
No, it's not too loud.
All right. Yeah. So that's kind of like a play on words, but that's a financial term. Being in the black means that you're profitable. And if you go back to the future and learn lessons from the Great Recession in 2008, you can actually prevent the recession happening in your house. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So that's what we want to talk about. So we want to talk about, how to crush and body the recession by looking at the case study in 2008, which was the Great Recession, and how to go back and make profitable endeavors today based on what we learned about during the Great Recession. And by doing that, we'll show you how to plug in to the 7 Spheres of Money system and actually get yourself in the right position. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about, what you just saw was a class that actually enables you. Man, that's kind of loud. I might have to go into my office. I don't know. Can you hear me loud enough?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. So what you guys just saw when you on the opening of the show is actually a class of professional experts that actually can help you recession proof your house. And if you treat your personal finances like the businesses treat their finances, you're not going to have a problem in this recession. So if you don't know it, we are in a recession. We are in a recession, and the government is not officially saying it, but the indicators, the CPI, the hyperinflation that we've been in for the whole year is in full effect. In full effect. And what you need to understand is, how do you recession proof your house? And able to do that, let's go back to the future and look at 2008. Well, what happened in 2008? The banks collapsed because of derivatives, credit swaps, and toxic assets that were being sold into the international market that was actually falsely inflating bad asset portfolios in hedge funds and Wall Street. And people were getting mortgages that were not backed by assets. And I mean hard assets, okay? And those hard assets were being sold in disguise. I mean, those assets were being sold in disguise that they were actually backed by physical properties, but they weren't. And then they were being sold on what's called the OTC, over-the-counter market, and into the international market. So you had portfolio managers that were actually packaging these services and these securities up and actually sending them out into the international market and giving them what they call an A rating. And so if it had an A rating, that means the best rating you can have. So that means they're pretty secure, which they really weren't. And then they start selling so much of them that they start making so much profit. And what people generally do is they rely on greed, and they keep selling bad assets to the non-informed and non-aware people, because based on the American dollar, the international market thought that these were safe assets to invest in. And thus China, India, Europe, Russia, they bought these what called credit swaps.
Mm-hmm.
And that put our market into a, spiral. It was basically an avalanche created because, again, interest rates were low. They were at an all-time low than they ever had been in our lifetime at that time. Thus, valuations of properties were over-evaluated. Okay? So if you had $100,000 house and the interest rates came down to 5%, but they were just at 9%, now that 100,000 house is being reassessed at 150,000. Does that sound familiar? What did we just happen to us in the market when the pandemic hit? When the pandemic hit, they locked down the country and the world, and in the process of doing that, the central bank went to zero interest borrowing to the retail banks. So at that time, people had mortgages that were the lowest rates before at 3.5%. And then it got ridiculous. It went down to 1.9% for A-paper buyers. And so when that started happening, it became a seller's market. And then you would actually have properties go on the market in 5 minutes and getting sold at $50,000, $100,000 over asking price. And so what did that create? That created a frenzy of people selling their properties and people buying because interest rate was low. That now, if I could only afford a $300,000 house at 3.75, but I got a 1.9 interest rate, I can now get a $500,000 house at the same payment. And then when all that came to a hedge, because again, just like them bad toxic assets, and the interest rates had that free money that was put into the market, the stimulus, which we thought was free money, which poor people thought was free money, which middle class people thought was free money. What did you think? You obviously thought that there was not going to be a blowback on that. Well, the blowback is the recession, because the interest rates had to go up so they can capitalize on that money that they gave away freely. Thus, the profits went down and the cost of everything went up, because what happened? Gas skyrocketed, right? And when gas skyrockets, what happens? Transportation costs go up, and the transportation cost increases the cost of goods and services. So your toilet paper went up, your food went up, your clothing went up, and that was passed on to the general market. And then on top of that, inflation went up at the same time. So now we have had 3 quarters, fiscal quarters, where that's been the trend, which is now a recession. Now, how do we get ourselves out of that? Well, first thing is don't panic. So you're going to be either in one of these 4 different age groups. Okay? You're either going to be 0 to 25. Okay? So you really don't need to be really concerned at 0 to 25, or you're going to be 26 to 50. Okay? Or you're going to be 51 to 72. Okay? 0 to 25, 26 to 50, 51 to 72, and then the last group is going to be your 73 to end of life. Now, the people who are probably the most need to be concerned about right now are the ones that are in the 51 to 73 category. Why? Because some of those people who had a 401k is now a 201k. And depending on what their regular retirement number was, age and income or passive income, they have to have a general concern. If they were looking to retire and actually live their golden years in the next 2 to 5 years, those people need to have, cause for concern, right? But what they can do to offset that is if they had great advisors, and this is what we did in 2008, Nick, when we saw the trends that we studied from the S&L scandals of the 1980s. At that time, I was a licensed financial advisor. I was a chartered senior financial advisor. I had a whole bunch of securities licenses. I was a certified estate advisor. I saw those trends coming because I studied them, and I immediately had people in that age group go to a significant portion of their portfolio to cash before the market took a downspin, which is last year this time. And if you can find that video, Nick, you can show them that I told them last year time that the winter was here. And I was giving a precursor to what's happening right now. And I'm giving a precursor that what's really about to unfold, which is going to be a massive recession. So if you were paying attention to me 12 months ago, you would have already been putting these things in place. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So the precursor was in 2007, before 2008, is that we saw what was happening in the market, the instability with these bad credit swaps and derivatives. And I had my people in that age bracket go to cash, gold. Man, hold on. It's getting too loud. Hold on.
Okay. Yep, it is. Yeah, folks. We can hear them clear, but yeah, it's definitely getting louder in the background. Yep, DJ will be right back. He'll be right back. That's interesting that he's talking about 2008, because I just recently saw for the first time The Big Short, the movie about 2008 and the housing market and those credit swaps. And when everybody thought Michael Burry was crazy for betting against the housing market. Yes. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That's what we're here for. We're here to bring the information to you.
So I have to apologize to our audience, man. For some reason, some clowns are doing yard work at 7:02 in the evening. Unbelievable, man.
They're gonna be out there because they're gonna be out there in the dark, be in the dark, missing spots.
This is a landscaping company, so it's not the neighbors. It's the landscaping company that they know there's no reason why you should be coming out here at this time of the day. So I apologize for that, audience. So as I was saying, we saw the indicators, Nick, and those indicators shown us that there were going to be trouble in the market, instability, toxic assets, that people weren't identifying toxic assets because Wall Street was getting greedy and eating off of this big time. The hedge funds companies were getting greedy and eating off it big time. And just like you talked about The Big Short, on the other side of that spectrum, people who knew what was going on start shorting a whole bunch of these, toxic assets, so much so that people literally, by the government owed people billions of dollars. I'm talking about hundreds of billions, because they would not let them cash in from them reading the market and shorting it the right way. Kind of like what Robinhood did when they froze people's ability to trade when GameStop was going out of control because Reddit, crazy frenzy people were trying to get back at the hedge fund people. And so people were going and buying it, and GameStop was shooting through the roof, which was a falsely inflated stock. And the people on Reddit was trying to make sure that these hedge funds people weren't about to make billions of dollars as that stock was going down, because that's how it was cashing out. And they cost them. But at the same time, Robinhood tried to stop people from taking advantage of that because they are on the same side as the hedge fund guys. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
with that said, the age group from 51 to 73, if you're not hitting your retirement button in the next 24 to 36 months, what you should be doing is you should have gone to probably about, and again, I'm not giving you financial advice. Let me make this absolutely clear. What I'm telling you are what the historical factors are and what I would be doing if I were in your shoes, because I run my personal house like a business. Does that make sense, Nick?
Yep.
So what you should have been doing back last October is going to 25% cash in your paper assets. Because if you went to 25% cash in your paper assets, you would have saved 50% loss on paper right now. Because most 401ks, 403bs, tax retirement vehicles have taken a 30 to 50% hit over the last 3 months. Okay. So if you'd done that, you wouldn't have lost any money. You wouldn't have gained any, but you wouldn't have lost any. Okay. Now, another thing that you should have been looking to do is to make sure that you have gotten all of your debt down, under control, your fixed reoccurring expenses, and then finding a way to be more savvier for things you need to get them at what we want expensive things at Walmart prices, Nick. So we would take those discounts, those coupons, those memberships, and bundle them together to get more leverage in the marketplace for reoccurring expenses that we have to have. Then you want to make sure that you have your proper insurances in place, paying the least amount cost per thousand per age, health, credit, making sure that your annuities are properly set up with the accumulation units that you're acquiring. Make sure you're getting your house paid down. And this is the advantage that you should have done when the market rates went down, where you can get that 1.52% interest rate. You should have consolidated from a 30 to a 15 and took that short rate and made the same payment. And then if you'd have done that wisely, Nick, you would have been on market to pay your house off in 7 to 10 years. Now, I hear what you're saying. Well, hey, DJ, what if I didn't do that? What if I'm, caught by surprise with this avalanche that's happening right now? Well, if you're caught by surprise and that avalanche is happening right now and your paper assets have actually gone down by 30, 40, 50%, and you still have discretionary income, Nick, what you should be doing is getting a new assessment done for yourself. And you should actually be leaning in and grabbing the vehicles that are on sale, but are actually not losing money based on their quarterly reports and their quarterly earnings. Okay. What do I mean by that? Let's take an example. And again, I'm not offering you financial advice, but here's what I'm saying to you. If you have children right now between the age of 5 to 12, a lot of them utilize, Minecraft, Roblox, Discord, Logitech products and services, right?
Yep.
So if they were to lean in to those have gone down, if you go to Yahoo Finance and you look at last year's, rate of what each one of those companies that I just named were selling for per share, and then you looked at their quarterly earnings, you will see that the price has gone down by 50%, and those are still solid companies. And if I got discretionary income and I can afford to, I'm going to dig in and buy me some more of those for the future. Because historically speaking, those assets have gone back up, just like in the Great Recession, 2008. We went through that window where from 2008 to 2009,
Things were down, but about time 2010, 2011, 2012, guess what? They upticked. And when you got right back to 2013, 2014, you know that they overcame those losses and was up by across the board almost 25, 30%. So right now, what I'm saying is from 2023 to 2025, if you have your basic things in order, you can lean in and get some more of that stuff at a deep, deep discount. You can literally get some high quality dividend stocks at 40, 50% off right now that are paying yields of 8, 12, 15% if you know how to find them. So that what I would do if I'm in that age group 51 to 73. If I'm in that age group 26 to 50, here's what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to leverage some of the gold that's accessible right now. I'm going to leverage some of the gold. I'm going to buy dividends. I'm going to pay down debt. I'm going to build my emergency fund. I'm going to make sure I have at least a 720 credit score. I'm going to buy stuff at a deep discount because I have cash. And then I'm going to get lean on my recurring expenses. And even though prices have gone up across the board and insurance and all stuff like that, you still can find discounts if you take the time to do the research and invest at least an hour to 2 hours on your finances. Now, typically when things are going good, I say a minimum is spend an hour on your finances. But now that we're making a turn into the recession, Nick, you ought to be spending 2 to 3 hours a week looking at your finances and looking for opportunities to seize advantage points for you. So here's one thing you can be rest assured. From now to election day, the market is going to be precipitously going down. But once election day hits, it's going to get a natural bump. And if you're buying dividends, you can actually buy them in advance to where they're going to make, a payout on a dividend date. Okay. Then what you're going to do is now look for assets. They're going to be on sale. What do I mean? You're going to start seeing people coming down on prices, which you already seen. Prices on real estate have gone down across the country, in some areas as much as 40%. So if you have gone lean, got your ducks in order, got a financial assessment for yourself, and you really need to buy a house, this is the best time to buy right now, other than the interest rate. And here's the thing that you need to know. People have incentive to sell their property, so they will they will pay down your interest rate for you as an incentive to buy their house. I'm going to say that again. They will pay down your interest rate for you as an incentive to buy your house. So interest rates right now, I think across the country, maybe like 5.75, 6%. So what I'm saying, if I needed to really sell my house and it still got a lot of equity in it, and I want to get out of it, let's say I got a $300,000 house and I'm sitting on about $170,000 worth of equity as an incentive, I'll say, look, Nick, you got a paper buyer and the best you can get is 5%. I'll pay down 2 points for you for the first 2 to 5 years of your term to make this a more attractive sale for you to pick this up from me. People do this all the time. Okay. So that's a leveraging point. Another leveraging point is that people in these situations are more open to seller financing. Okay. Seller financing. So a lot of deals and investment areas are going to get done by seller financing. Why is that? Well, because most of those people, Nick, who are selling, they have, accelerated and used up all of their tax write-offs. What do I mean by that? If you are a person that's in the commercial real estate sector, most commercial loans are 15-year loans. And usually after, 7 to 12 years, you have taken all the maximum depreciation, which has to be recaptured when you sell your property. So instead of me paying that large, capital gains tax, I'll be willing to let Nick do seller financing with me and pay me a payment for a period of time till you can get a balloon payment to get me out of my tax consequences for the profit I'm gonna make in selling this property. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now a lot of that happened in the Great Recession, and then a lot of properties went down in value. And what you were able to do is increase your credit, get your business credit lines up, be aggressive, and then go out and shop like a mad discount buyer. So if you were in the market for a $300,000 house, you could probably get that house for $250,000. If you're in the market for a car, you know, that was a $30,000 car and you got good credit and you got cash, you're probably going to get that car for $25,000 to $22,000 if you know what you're doing. Now, the one thing that I didn't share with you to actually make this happen is you got to team up. You got to team up with a group of professionals that know what they're doing, that have expertise in each category that you are, you know, not good at. And then let them go do the work for you. And if you are the person in the age group 0 to 25, the most important thing you ought to be doing right now, Nick, is increasing your skill sets. Your digital technical skill sets that are going to be transferable in any economy. And see, a lot of times when people start panicking, then they forget the fundamentals of finances, or they never knew what they were. So if you go back and look at the trends and the things that happened in 2008 to 2010, and you study what worked, it's going to work even better today. But unfortunately, this is going to be probably a harder recession than the Great Recession. And why do I say that? Because a lot of people have gotten a lot more cheap money. You got to remember, there was no pandemic then, and the government wasn't giving out trillions of free dollars, just printing money and sending, you know, $60 billion to the Ukraine. So since this is a precedent that all that money went out, that money has to be accounted for, and it's going to be taxed. And that's why you have hyperinflation right now. So if you sit down, get your assessment, look at your portfolio. If you are in position to buy these stocks, dividend stocks primarily on a discount, and you're in the age group 0 to 25, 26 to 50, and even on the fringe of 51 to 72, and you don't have to go into retirement in the next 2 to 5 years, all you have to do is be a great bargain shopper right now. And when it comes to the investment side, you need to make sure you got your credit, get as much credit that you possibly can, business lines of credit. And if you're in position and you have equity and it's applicable, I'm going to say it again. If you're in position and it's applicable, make sure you got your home equity lines of credits available for you. Because one thing you will realize is that when we went into the pandemic, the banks froze the home equity lines of credit. And you have to understand why they did that. They did that because you could actually transfer your mortgage debt to a line of credit card that would not any backing by an asset. And theoretically and technically, you can actually get yourself out of debt without having income based on the equity that you afforded on your home equity line of credit, as long as your home equity line of credit is not in the senior position. Now, again, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you how it works. And I'm telling you from a position of a person who used to be securities licensed. I'm telling you from a person who used to be a chartered senior financial planner, which is an insurance destination and a securities destination of Series 6, 63, 65, assets under management. And I'm telling you from a perspective of a person still today has been a financial educator for 20 years and has sat down with over 25,000 people independently, face to face. So I see all different income brackets. I see people that do $3 million a year. I see people that make $30,000 a year. And the principles are the same, Nick. So to recession-proof your house, let me reiterate that. Number one, you should be going to cash, and that percentage should be based on what you and your advisor sat down with. Now, don't go to cash. If your portfolio was 100 grand and now today it's 50, don't go to cash because you already lost 50% of value. That's not what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying if your portfolio is at 50 and it was going down to 45, then you might want to go to cash on some of that. Don't go all the way, because once you cash out and go to your money market account, you basically have gotten rid of your paper assets. So in exchange for that, you should be having some gold in your portfolio. Number two, you should be accumulating dividends right now on a dollar cost asset allocation model. Number three, you should be paying down any discernible debt, especially consumer debt. And what you should also do is make sure that you're keeping your credit lines active and utilizing your debt to income ratios, or what some people call, debt utilization. At the end of the day, it's a percentage. So here's the rule of thumb. If I got $1,000 credit card balance, a $1,000 credit line, I want to pay it all the way down, Nick, but I also want to every month or every other month utilize at least 10% of it to keep it active, so they don't restrict it, or they can actually go back and say, hey, even though you're paying your bills on time, we're going to take your $1,000 credit limit and make it $500.
Yep. That's what happened to my father.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people be like, well, hey, man, I don't have any debt or anything, but you're not utilizing the credit. And guess what? How do the banks make their money? By them charging you interest. So in order for you to prevent that, Nick, you should use at least 10% of that line of credit. I would encourage you to do it every month, but no less than every 60 days. Same thing with your line of credits. I would actively use those to keep them open. What did I learn during 2008? I had a credit line of 100 grand that I wasn't using, and I looked up and they reduced it to 50. And then I looked up and then they basically reduced it down to 25. It's because I wasn't using it.
Wow.
So if you're out there and you have built up amazing credit lines and you're not utilizing it, you should utilize them. And what you should utilize them for is to buy assets that are actually going to be available at pennies on the dollar. Okay? You should be building up your emergency fund, because really you should have started that last year, October of 2021. But now we're in the recession, but we're not in the thralls of the deepest part of the recession yet. That's going to hit hard in the next 6 to 12 months. So you still have time today to get this in place and not be one of the people that can be out on the streets homeless. So I pay down the consumer debt, start contributing to my emergency fund. If I'm a small business owner, entrepreneur, I make sure I am contributing to a self-employment pension plan, an individual 401k, and inside those pre-tax vehicles, I'm buying hard assets. What do I mean by hard assets? I mean real estate, businesses, dividends. I'm not buying a bunch of paper assets that can only appreciate or depreciate with no financial solid asset to back it with. I'm doing less of that and more bargain shopping right now. Then I'm going to take that approach and put a team together, and I'm going to put out finders to look at opportunities for me. They're going to be more than you ever seen in a longer period of time if you have great credit and cash and lines of credit. So now you can start building up cash flow for your assets. And what we were able to do from 2009 to 2012, we were able to double our portfolio in real estate, because properties that were one time, for instance, I'll give you an example in Detroit. At the height of the market, when it was at the highest end at 2007, average properties in neighborhoods we were buying in Detroit were like $125,000, $150,000. Those same properties, Nick, 24 months later were $30,000.
Wow.
So what we did was we cashed in our chips, went back and bought those toxic assets at 30,000 and played the cash flow game. What do I mean? We weren't playing net worth. The property rents were still the same. Matter of fact, they went up. You know, the value on paper went from 150 to 30,000. The rent that was normally 600 went to 800. What are you finding right now? As interest rates go up, more renters are in the market. So if you have bought the property right and teamed up and bought it in cash, you got an abundance of cash flow buildup right now.
Okay.
So you should be looking for strategic assets that you can buy for pennies on the dollar. Right now, if you got cash in the next 6 to 12 months, what you could have bought, for instance, for $1,000, you can get for $500. In some cases, you're gonna be able to get for $250. That's if you have cash, credit, and business lines of credit, Nick.
Okay.
And if you have a team that's aggressively out in the market looking for these deals for people who are in a bad situation, got to get rid of the assets or don't want to pay the tax capital gains, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you. How do I know? Because again, from 2009 to 2012, we put together almost 100 properties.
Mm.
So if you can take that position, Nick, and strategically work with a team and whatever age group you are, follow a plan based on your risk tolerance questionnaire, you can position yourself to be okay in this recession. And so what that means for you, don't be out here trying to, pretend like you're got more than what you have. Go back to that next door millionaire mindset and start looking more like an average person instead of trying to look like a famous person. So with that said, Nick, let's go to a break and we'll come back and we'll give some more tips in the other two age groups. And I'm going to go up to my office because it's already got dark, and unfortunately because the mowing and everything that interrupted the flow.
It's all good. All right, everybody, we'll be right back.
I'm 9 years old and I took the Start Small, Watch It Grow investment course. It's amazing. With that help, I made my own stock portfolio. I love it. Now it's making me money. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. What are you waiting for? Just do it.
Hello, my name is Salome Fox, and I just wanted to pop on and give a testimonial for DJ the Money Coach's financial education program. I'm excited, I am focused, and I am determined to live my best life yet. With his guidance, his team, and his expertise, I know I'm going to make it to the finish line, along with many, 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 many who came before me. So I look forward to Zanzibar and many other opportunities in the future. But this time, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready 120%. Let's go.
Hey guys, my name is Bradley, and not too long ago, I made the decision to go ahead and get financially educated, and I did choose DJ the Money Coach, man. Why? Because his track record is there, for one, and then two, his system is proven, and what it proves to me is that it makes things simple for you or for me, and so far the education that I received has been unparalleled, and it's not just him that you know get out of this. You get it plugged into a network of professionals who all been there and done that, and they're in this space to educate you and to set you straight. So I would highly recommend it, and appreciate it so far what they've done, and I look forward to continue to grow because I'm kind of excited now that I got things on track where I need to go with my business, and I'm still learning. So this is enlightening for me. So, and I'm pretty sure it'd be the same for you, especially if you're a business owner or entrepreneur or someone who's looking to grow or look to get educated financially about anything from whether stocks or bonds or you know, you name it. You know, there's a structure already out there that's designed to benefit you, and these guys got a recipe for success, man. So thank you guys, and good luck. I definitely think it's working. So big recommendation.
All right, and we're back. We're back. All right, so DJ made it back up to the office, you know, so let's jump back in and get to the rest of these tips.
Yeah, so right now, again, if you're in the age group of 26 to 50, you still have a lot of time. And here's the positive thing. The recession, it'll probably be over in 24 to 36 months. Okay. That's the positive part. You're still in the best country in the world. That's another thing. So if you not out here flaunting, faking, and pretending to be something that you're not, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be a-okay. Another thing that you need to understand is stop trying to follow what other people are doing. Mind your own business. Okay? Mind your own business. If you mind your own business and you're not comparing yourself to somebody else, you'll generally be a-okay. So if you're able to, you know, and I'm not saying reduce your lifestyle. Don't misinterpret this. But if you have been living beyond your means, then you should be reducing your lifestyle. And you should be acquiring assets that can actually pay you passive income. There's 3 typical passive income assets: dividends and stocks, real estate, and businesses that actually pay based on contracts over a period of time, regardless of what's going on. So you should position yourself to do that. Okay. Now, from the 26 to the 50-year-olds, you talk specifically, you know, from the 26 to the 35-year-olds. Right now, I'm going to increase my skill sets. In addition to increasing my skill sets, I'm going to typically want to party and have a good time and travel around the world. I'm going to now make sure I am getting myself in position as a 26-year-old to take care of the 35-year-old me. And what does that mean? That means that you should be aggressively trying to put something in your portfolio. You should aggressively trying, because time is on your side. And if you didn't have, you know, the proper vehicle set up, the Roth IRA, things of that nature, then you should start them and start putting money aside into those. And you should be looking for ways to actually acquire hard assets on a discount, because again, there's going to be a lot of people that overstretch themselves in this economy while the money was cheap, and they're going to have to give some of those assets back, and you could be sitting right there to grab them up. Another thing that you ought to do is go to the table and renegotiate with your debtors. Your creditors, I'm sorry, not your debtors, but your creditors. See, what a lot of people don't realize is that here's what the creditors know. They know that you have more than one creditor. And the last thing they want to have happen to them, Nick, is be the one that don't get paid. So let's just say the average person in America that's aged 26 to 35, they have about 5 to 7 credit cards, Nick. And in those 5, 7 credit cards, if they start to get a little bit over their skis, which means they got more money, more time than they have money, the first thing to do is actually pick up the phone, legitimately address your creditor and say, look, I'm going to have a little bit tougher time paying all the credit that I borrowed from you, but I am going to pay it all off. So can we renegotiate our terms? You'll be surprised, Nick, how often the creditor will work with you. Because even though it's harder to file bankruptcy, you still can file bankruptcy. And if they file bankruptcy, the creditor gets nothing. So if I find myself in a tight financial situation, but I have all my health, Nick, I'm going to first man up, woman up, and I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to talk to my highest creditors that I owe money to, especially if it's consumer debt. Another tip that you need to know, as a homeowner, even if you had missed the wave of the low interest rates, if you've been with a mortgage provider, let's say 5, 7, 10 years, and you haven't refinanced and you were thinking about doing it, they will give you a better rate than the general market to keep your business right now. So let's say interest rates are 5.5% across the board in your community, but you've been with the same mortgage company for 10 years and they know you got a lot of equity. You're most likely, if you know how to talk to them, Nick, you can go in and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I've been with you 10 years. I've got 40% equity in my property. And I realize that I can actually not only do, bi-monthly payments, I can actually go to a shorter term and still pay the payment I got now. But oh boy, over here is offering me a low incentive rate. How about you meet me here where I don't have to do that? And you'll be surprised that they'll actually give you a better rate. How do I know, Nick? Because I've done that for clients all the time. Recently, in the last 2-3 months, I've got clients in the last 60 days, 3.75, 4% interest rates, even though the interest rates went to 5.5, 6%. And that was because I told them, pick up the phone and call their current mortgage provider. And it has to be somebody that you've had your mortgage with them for a significant period of time, Nick. I'm not saying you just bought a new home, 3 years ago, and now you want them to give you a benefit of the doubt. I'm saying somebody that's had their home since 2012, never refinanced, and now they need to do something. That mortgage provider, if they're the original servicer of your loan, they will give you preferential treatment to keep servicing your loan. But you don't know this because nobody's teaching this in school. The realtor who sold you the house is not interested in having that conversation. The mortgage broker who gave you original mortgage is not interested in having that conversation with you because they're not making any money off of that. But since I'm a financial educator, Nick, who also used to be a minority owner in a mortgage, banker business, not a mortgage broker, but a mortgage banker business, under the federal charter, I can tell you how that works. That's the same thing that actually created in the Great Recession, the short sale. There was no such thing as a short sale, to my knowledge, prior to 2006, 2007.
Oh, wow.
But because the market crashed, people were what we call upside down, where they had more mortgage than they had house. The short sale became the tool to get them from under negative equity. And then so many people started taking advantage of negative equity. The government said, you're able to walk away. You had a $500,000 mortgage. It was only worth, your house only worth $300,000. Now you're able to short sell it at $275,000. You're gonna have to pay capital gains on that $225,000 that you were able to walk away from. And people in the industry that know what I'm talking about can testify to this. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is when the first short sale became legal, there was no tax ramification to it. So if I had a $500,000 mortgage, but my house was now only worth $300,000, I was $200,000 in negative equity. The short sale came about. You were able to sell your house at $275 and leave the bank stuck with a negative $225,000. But the banks didn't like that, so they lobbied the government, and the government told the IRS, you now can tax capital gains on reverse negative mortgages for $225,000. So guess what's going to happen here? Again, go back to the future, back to the future. What's going to happen in recession? Another product is going to manifest itself in the recession to help people get from underneath being greedy. Mark my words. There used to be a loan called the option arm loan that gave you 4 options to pay off your mortgage. One, you could pay the regular conventional rate on a 30-year term. You could pay a 15-year rate. Then you could pay an interest-only rate or a 2-year rate, which made it negative equity in order to pay the least amount to keep your mortgage. These were called option arm mortgages, Nick. And these came out in 2005. And they were prevalent in the marketplace from 2005 to 2007. And these mortgages were spearheaded by Washington Mutual. Washington Mutual wasn't the creator of it, but they ended up doing more option arm mortgages than anybody. And those were mortgages for the upper elite, just like interest-only mortgages are. How do I know, Nick? Because I've been doing this. I not only had an option arm mortgage on investment property and an interest-only, rates on investment property because my mentor, who was multi-millionaire, showed me how to use it. I also sold those mortgages to highly qualified, affluent buyers, not people who can afford. This was just like the subprime mortgages, which was direct in correlation to credit swaps and derivatives. Those subprime loans became credit swaps and became securities. Even back in 2002 to 2006, there were things called life settlements or viaticals. And what those were, Nick, were insurance policies when the AIDS epidemic had exploded on the back end and people who had AIDS and had these insurance products couldn't afford to pay their premiums. Companies came together and they started paying the premiums to actually cash in on the policy. How do I know this, Nick? Because I actually used to be one of the #1 sellers of life settlements. So a lot of these things that were negatives in the Great Recession can be turned into positives in this recession. But in order to overcome that, Nick, you have to have a team, you have to get some training, and you have to understand the power of the dollar. And you also have to know how to take advantage of the first time in my life that the dollar was stronger than the euro and almost equivalent to the pound. So right now, for the person who's in that affluent category, no matter what their age is, but their income and their net worth and their cash flow, Nick, they can really do some massive shopping in Europe. And I'm talking about buying assets, real estate, businesses, because right now, the United States dollar, the pound is only like 30 cents more than the United States dollar, when on average, it's always been like 1.5 to 2. Now, don't quote me on this because I didn't look at what the market closed today, but I can tell you last week, the US pound was 1.05 to the $1. And the dollar has been far better than the euro for the past 2 months. So if you know how to move around the world and take advantage of the currency exchange and your dollar is more stronger, you can grab major assets right now strategically. internationally. Same thing that we're doing over in Zanzibar. So I see we have a question here. What does the question say?
It says, do you think more time needs to pass before we see real results of the recession, or do you think that we are deep in it?
Well, just like I said, we are at the beginning of the recession, and in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to be deep into it up to our necks. So if I'm you, Loner Darian, I am getting myself positioned. Number one, pay down my consumable debt. Number two, stockpiling my cash, get myself some gold, and now go shopping for massive discounts. Because now it is a buyer's market and not a seller's market. So when you play this video back, just like we did last October when I said winter is coming, you're going to see in 2023, you're going to see the real definition of the have and the have-nots. So if you do like what Thorough said, take the tale of the two cities, one city is going to accelerate and one is going to go down. And what you'll find out is that more wealth is created in recessions than in regular markets for the real players, the real investors, the real financial literate people, because they're not income earners, they're wealth builders, and they have multi-generational education platform. So if you take the position of one, going cash and a percentage of your paper assets, grabbing yourself a decent amount of gold relative to your income, your worth, and your reoccurring expenses and your positive cash flow, take that position, get yourself positioned over the next 2 to 5 years to start grabbing systematically dividend, stocks if you're going to do the paper assets. Then take those assets on the Pay Yourself First program and buy hard assets right now. So as a business, I'm actually looking to acquire more businesses as well. Why? Because businesses are going to have cash flow problems. Businesses that have good equity, they're going to need lines of credit and fits. No, I'm talking more about the physical gold. The physical gold. Okay? So I know you can buy with all these fractions of this and fractions of that. I'm saying find yourself a reputable gold, exchange that you can invest in some physical gold. And do it strategically by first doing your Pay Yourself First, have your emergency fund, have your investment vehicles, then a percentage of the gold for you, and then go down the line. But the first thing you have to do is you have to have an assessment. Don't just jump out, because I'm not giving you financial advice. The first thing everyone should do at the sound of my voice is get themselves an assessment. We talked about this a couple of weeks back, why the fall is so important to get assessed. We talked about this probably 6-7 weeks ago, the 7 things that you need to do for each bracket: working class, middle class, small business, and entrepreneurs. But most people were still living high on the hog, and just like the grasshopper, they didn't think that this day was coming. This day is here now. But don't panic. If you got your health, you have the ability to put a team together, you have the ability to put a great, assessment together, you will be A-okay. But if you do have to retire right now, you may have to hold off your retirement and work a little bit longer if you didn't already have these ducks in a row. And that's where the importance of a collective team comes together, so you can leverage your time and your money with the same like-minded people. And generally, we don't do enough of that, Nick.
Right.
So I would lean in to, again, cash percentage of my portfolio, grab some gold, buy some dividends, pay down all consumer debt, build up my emergency fund. And if I already got a solid emergency fund, look for strategic ways to acquire discount assets with those emergency funds. Don't let those emergency funds just sit stagnant and depreciate in value of dollars. That's why you want to have the hard assets. Okay. Then I want to make sure that my personal credit is at least 720. And then I want to make sure that I'm building business credit to at least $100,000 credit lines. And then I want to take those credit lines, ladies and gentlemen, to recession proof my house, learning from 2008, to make sure I'm using 10% of those credit cards, 10% of those credit lines to keep them active, so the bank does not restrict or constrict your borrowing capacity, even though you're paying your bills on time. That's one of the biggest mistakes that we make when we do have 800 credit scores and no discernible consumable debt. We stop utilizing and keeping the cards active. And here's what you don't do. Do not close any credit lines right now. I made that mistake before. About 5-6 years ago, I just got tired of using this one credit card, and I'm an expert, and lo and behold, it was about a $50,000 credit line, and I just didn't like the company, and I canceled the card, and boom, I got a dink. So you still have to keep your longest lines of credit open and active. And what you should also do, Nick, use the credit before you use your own cash, especially now. Use your credit, utilize the rewards programs, and pay everything off every 30 days. There's a saying, don't buy it if you can't pay for it cash in 30 days or less. I'm going to say that again. Don't buy it if you can't afford to pay it off completely in cash in 30 days or less. Also understand that there's two activities on your credit statement. There's your full balance and there's your cycle. What you should be concentrating on to never pay any interest is the cycle for that 30, 28 days. I.e., if I just paid my credit card today on the 14th, now and the cycle starts from 14th to next 12th of next month, I only concern myself about everything that I charge, Nick, between the 14th to the 13th of November, and I pay that in full, and that'll keep my credit scores up, and that'll keep my line of credit lines open. And here's another tip. I would go to all my existing credit cards that I've had for at least 2 years and pay consistently and request now extension of credit. Because they're not going to be doing that 6 to 12 months from now. Here's the tip. Remember, here's the learning lesson, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of the pandemic, what did all the banks do? They stopped home equity lines of credit. Because they knew if you were savvy like me, you knew how to utilize the home equity line of credit and keep paying off all your discernible bills. And also, there's no leveraging point for them on your house anymore, especially if the home equity line of credit is not in the senior position. And 95% of home equity lines of credit are in the junior position, which means you cannot lose your house because that debt cannot be called on if you have to BK or cash out. It's the senior that's paid first and the debitor. The junior is paid second and third. So here's another tip, Nick. Never put a home equity line of credit, business line of credit in the senior position, and never do a personal guarantee. So let me recap. 8 things. And I'm just going to, because these are the fundamentals that I learned from 2008. And here's what I want to share with my people. All of the people that I was managing their portfolios, we went to cash so early. Actually had some people, Nick, that went to 90% cash, and we only lost 7% of our portfolios over 36 months, while other people were losing 50, 60% of their portfolios. And in the process of doing that, Nick, we started buying hard assets. So our money wasn't just sitting stagnant or still. We were taking it and utilizing it smartly in a group environment and buying more properties, pennies on the dollar. But again, I'm not giving you financial advice. What I am telling you on Family Finance Friday, here's the things you ought to be doing in your family. And then, most importantly, you ought to be treating your personal household budget like a business, and the business will take care of you if you do that. So let me recap, and we can go to break, and then we come back and we can get out of here. So again, there's 4 age groups, 0 to 25, really no panic, increase your skill sets. Increase your skill sets, go grab some assets and portion, play the long game, get some dividends. 26 to 50, you're still not retiring right now. So just get lean, reduce your consumer debt, extend your lines of credit, go to a little bit more to your portfolio cash, and look for the discounts in the next 6 to 12 months. 51 to 72, you're actually on the back end in retirement. So get down with your advisor, your attorney, and look at where you are and strategically start to make sure your policies are right, renegotiate your terms with your creditors, things of that nature. Increase your health by physically working out, things of that nature. And then 73 to life, you should basically make sure that your annuities, your CDs are paying the top rate and don't cash out of them. And then in terms of that, you want to do this: cash, gold, buy dividends, pay down debt, build emergency fund, get the personal credit 720, get business credit to 100 grand, buy things at a deep discount. In the next 6 to 12 months, you get cash and credit, you're going to get amazing deep discounted properties and businesses. I can guarantee you this because I've done it time and time again. I bought so many properties in the REO market from 2008 to 2010 is ridiculous. Brand new houses that at one point selling for 400,000, turn around selling for 300 and 250 because the bank don't want that sitting on their assets as a toxic asset. Okay, team up with 2 or 3 like-minded professionals, or get yourself a professional group to help you personally and your business where you are short or you don't know enough. Small businesses, you should be reassessing all your employee benefit plans, your 401ks, your self-employment pension plans, your kiosks. You should be looking at your protection vehicles, the proper types of insurance products that you should have to protect you, to protect the enterprise. Negotiate with everybody. And then start looking for assets that will cash flow. Don't be looking at the price of the asset. Look at the cash flow that it can pay off on a monthly basis. And if you strategically do those 8 in the 4 different age groups, you're going to be way ahead. As the recession gets deeper and worser, you're going to go up, 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 up. And what's going to happen, Nick? People are going to say you got lucky, but they don't realize you did the 4 dirty little words and the 4 P's. And we'll talk about that when we come back from this last break. We'll talk to you in a minute.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Alicia Cooper, and after my first consultation with DJ, I decided to work with him because of his credentials, because of his experience, and because he gave me ideas on ways for my husband and I to structure our business in a way that will work better for us than what we're doing right now. He also gave me ideas on ways that we could possibly change up our life insurance situation. One rule that I always follow when deciding to work with someone is that person has to be successful in whatever area it is that I'm seeking advice or mentorship with. DJ checked those boxes, and DJ came highly recommended by someone that I trust. So I happily recommend the services of DJ's companies if you need financial planning advice. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Hey, friends, get in touch with DJ the Money Coach. He's phenomenal. His staff is phenomenal. These are complete professionals. I know it's difficult to hand someone your financial profile, but you will be happy that you did. Contact them for your free consultation. You won't regret it.
How do you crush the recession?
2008 is the answer. Black to the Future is the solution with DJ the Money Coach. 2 consultations, 2 master classes, 800 credit score. Build business credit from 0 to 100 grand in 3 months or less. Earn $8,333 a month in passive income for $20. Hit it and crush it with DJ Money. All right. So we're back. So let's talk about, how we can help people and how important it is for them to get on the right team with the right experts with the right experience. Man, that's powerful. You want to read that statement that just popped up on there? This is what we're talking about. This makes us happy. We're glad to hear this great information.
Yep. So Lona Darian, who asked a few minutes about investing in the gold, and question about the recession, said, I had a consultation with you last summer. I was able to use that roadmap to make a lot of decisions since then. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, we thank you. Glad we're able to be assistance to you. Hey, spread the gospel and let people know that this is the real deal, and we are the pros pro when it comes to financial education, financial services. And we've been doing this for 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. I always tell people, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm actually a small business owner, and we do business with a lot of major, Fortune 100, 500, Fortune 1000 companies across the United States and internationally as well. And we bring that to the table for you. So what we want to share with you as we wrap up is, here's 3 things that I want you to concentrate on. If you have children ages 7 to 18, the first thing you ought to be doing, and the best thing you can do for your legacy, is to financially educate your children. So I want to talk to you about how to recession-proof your legacy. First, get those children in front of a group of other children who are already doing these things in a fun way. You want to teach your children the stalwarts and the stewardship of how money really works. And the first way to do that, Nick, is to teach them the concept of the 4 envelopes. The first envelope is going to represent, for your children aged 7 to 18, 50% of every dollar that they earn or given to them should be put in investments, especially right now, ladies and gentlemen. Because here's a history lesson for you. What happened in March 2020? The stock market went down something like 30%. And in the process of the stock market going down by 30%, there were a whole bunch of high quality stocks on super dollar store discount prices. And you know what we did when that happened, Nick? We jumped right in with our children and bought a bunch of stocks. So if you teach your children right now between 7 to 18 how to do that versus buying them Jordans, Yeezy, whatever, they're going to be better positioned, that they're not going to ask you for money when they're in their 20s or 30s or their 40s, because you taught them the principles. But most importantly, Nick, they saw you doing it. So 4 envelopes, physical envelopes, ladies and gentlemen, not cards, any physical envelopes. First envelope is called investing. 50% of every dollar that they earn or given to them goes into that envelope. And then on their birthday, or at least twice a year, you buy dividend stocks. Guess what? I'm not giving you financial advice, but if I were to sit down with my advisor right now, I'm buying some stocks right now for my 7 to 18-year-old. Right now. Number 2, the second envelope is called savings. Nick, do me a favor. Put these up on the screen. Number 1, the investment envelope, 50% of every dollar that they get. So if you give your child that they earn $10, $5 should go in that first envelope called investing. And every 90 days, they should be putting that into an investment vehicle. 50%. So put that down there for them, Nick. 50%. Second envelope, ladies and gentlemen. This is to recession-proof your home. This goes back to 2008. 2008, I only had 2 children, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was. Yep, 2004. Yep, I had 2 children. So I taught my oldest, put money in his, and my newborn. And then the second envelope is savings, 30%. Because guess what? History is going to repeat itself. So that was what? 14 years ago? So guess what's going to happen again 14 years, 7 to 10 years? Here's what you need to know. Every 7 to 10 years, we're going in and out of some type of small or large recession. We actually are have been in the largest, fortuitous, profitable era in my lifetime. Almost 14 years of prosperity, Nick. So the second envelope is 30%. So if they earn $10, $3 of them dollars goes in a savings account. And savings account, ladies and gentlemen, are only meant for buying large ticket things. So for your child, guess what the savings account represents the future? College tuition, technical school, trades, or buy their own car when they're senior in high school or freshman in college. So a savings plan is 2 to 5 years to make large purchases. Do you hear me? Savings is for 2 to 5 years to make large purchases. So the third envelope, Nick, is the giving back to society. It's the charity envelope, 10%. Now that's 90% of that $10. And the last envelope is they can spend it wherever they want to. And guess what you're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen? Your children, physically seeing the money, they're going to be tight than a thrifter with their money. Know how I know? I got 4 reasons that I've seen for 18 years that this worked with every time. When they say, Dad, I want this, I said, go ahead and get it. Spend your own money. And before I know, they really don't want it that badly, Nick.
Right. Yeah, they're like, never mind.
So now, after we've done that, Nick, we want to engage them with the old school game. We want to have them have fun playing the old school game called Monopoly. Now, I don't get any remuneration for Monopoly, but if it's a public traded company, I can bet you we own the stock. There's another tip. Only have your children wearing or playing stuff that you own stock or equity in. And if you teach them that at a young age, you'll never have to worry about them worrying about a recession ever in their lives. So get them engaged to play Monopoly with you and spend that 1 hour a week having some fun, but that's a Trojan horse that's teaching them about real life. Now, if they get engaged and play Monopoly, which we all have played, now take them to a higher level, and now they're getting conscious and aware of how money really works. Now, Nick, you're going to take them to the most important game.
Cash flow.
Cash flow. Cash flow for kids. So what you do, your 7 to 11-year-olds, they have a small version called Cash Flow for Kids, and it just shows you basic, what is an asset, what is a liability. They give you these 3 little red these circle, chips, and you figure out who can get the most chips more than liabilities, and that's how you win the game. So that's from your 7 to 11-year-olds. Your 11 to 18-year-olds, you have them play cash flow together. So guess what we're going to do for your young children, 7 to 11? We're going to actually teach them how to play every Saturday. 1 hour to an hour and a half how to play Monopoly. And then for your 11 to 18-year-olds, we're going to teach them how to play cash flow and what we call our Young All-Star program and our Junior All-Star program. And that can be signed up for at any time. It's only 10 people per group. So we're going to take 20 sharp children with sharp parents. We're going to put 10, ladies and gentlemen, in our Young All-Star program, 7 to 11. They're going to play Monopoly one-on-one. They're going to learn about dividend stocks in the 4 envelopes. And then we're going to take the 12 to 18-year-olds. We're going to teach them how to play the real cash flow, teach them about the 4 envelopes, and we're actually going to teach them how to buy dividend stocks and teach them about entrepreneurship and buy their first hard asset. So, Nick, can you pull that up for them? Because we want to show them that, and then we want to close out and show them how we're going to celebrate this weekend freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, this is for the first 10 children only. 10 children in the junior program and 10 children in the Young All-Star program only. And I think we only have 5 or 6 seats available right now in each group for a collective total of 20 people. So every other Saturday, the Junior All-Stars are going to do the odd Saturdays of the month, which is 2 Saturdays of the month. And the Young All-Stars are going to do the even Saturdays a month. And we're going to work with them starting next Saturday will be the launch of the first class, Nick. Next Saturday, October 21st, we will be doing this online, playing with them, engaging with them. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have my children leading the program run by Tajir, administering the layout as a supervisor and a what do they call it? Chaperone. Okay? So you have the real fruit on the tree, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we're doing for your children. And you can get in the program for as little as $49. This is a limited time only. $49, ladies and gentlemen. We will play and teach your children for the next 90 days. They will get a grand total of like 12 sessions for $49. That's amazing. Okay? Now, to close it out, we're going to do something special for you guys. And this is to celebrate my dad's birthday, which is tomorrow. And this is only going to be good until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to do something crazy, Nick. And you already showed the information, but now we're going to explain it to you. So what we're going to do is called Crush the Recession 2x2x2 program for you. What does that mean, Nick? We're going to give the first 10 people the ability to get 2 consultations with us, one with me personally and one member of our team. You can talk to our financial advisor. You can talk to our CPA. You can talk to our attorney. You can talk to our business credit specialist. You can talk to our system specialist. These are all consultations, ladies and gentlemen, that we charge anywhere from $595 to $1,500 for. We're going to give you 2 of those complimentary consultations. We're going to also give you 2 master classes, which is what you saw at the opening of today's show, how our master classes are actually run by our high-end professionals that we've done with Chase Bank and Fortune 1000 companies. We're going to give you 2 master classes that are a typical value per person of $995. And we're going to do it all for $20. So I'm going to say this again, Nick. We're going to give them 2 complimentary consultations, 2 master classes for only $20. And that's only good for the first 20 people to celebrate my dad's birthday tomorrow, October 15th, until 11:59 p.m. Now, what we will do for the first 10 people that take advantage of the class tonight, we're going to throw in an additional consultation with 2 more players on our team. So the first 10 people to take advantage of this before 11:59 p.m., you're not going to get 2 consultations with the team. You're going to get 4. So that'll mean you'll get a consultation with me, DJ the Money Coach, a consultation with our CPA of 30 years. You get a consultation with our registered investment advisor of 20 years that manages millions of dollars. And you get the choice between a consultation with our business credit professional that can get you $100,000 of business credit in 3 months, or you can get a consultation with our chief information CIO and show you how to put your system of your small business together for the first 10 people that take advantage of the $20 offer right now. And that's called Crush the Recession Black to the Future Bundle. So it's called 2 by 2 for 20. So that's all I got for him tonight, Nick. This has been an awesome show, and we'll recap for you guys in the links below on what the things you should do. But if you're really serious about recession-proofing your home and getting with a high-powered team of professionals in the 7 Spheres of Money program who have expertise in all 7 spheres of money: accounting, banking, insurance, financial planning, estate planning, mortgage banking, legal. You got the best team on the block. You know what, Nick? I'm gonna throw in another one for him, Nick.
Okay.
The first 5 people that take advantage of the 2 by 2 tonight by 11:59 p.m., we're gonna give them a digital copy of the ABCs of Wealth, and we charge $29 for this book alone, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, why don't you tell them a little bit about that, and then we're out of here.
Yes, yeah. This book, man, this book, it might look by appearance, it might look thin by appearance, but this book is packed with 20 years of information. This is almost a memoir, a DJ the Money Coach memoir of all of the lessons, all of the experiences that he accumulated over the past 20 years, all in it's called the ABCs of Wealth, and it's in alphabetical order. So for each letter of the alphabet, there is a concept or a principle. So I open the letter D for DJ, dream, discipline, determination, direction. I didn't even plan that. I just opened to that page. So yeah, that's this is probably our most, we have a few books out, but this is our most powerful publication right here, the ABCs of Wealth.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So hey, we appreciate you guys coming out. If you are serious about getting your life right and recession-proof your house, take advantage of the lessons that I learned in 2008 in the Great Recession, which was 14 years ago. And this way you can offset any downside to the economy and your personal economy and go upward instead of downward. Wow. Man, why don't you read that before we get out? Man, that's a powerful testimonial, man.
Yeah. So we have to close out with this one, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it came in a few minutes ago, but I'm like, I got to save this for the closing. It says, and this is from Lona Darian again. I'm 28 and I'm getting ready to close on a personal residence, and I was able to create a Roth IRA and max it out for 2021 after talking to you.
Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. You know what? Hey, here's what we're gonna do for Darian. Get shirt size, and we're gonna send them a limited edition Pom Pom Lifestyle T-shirt that you got on, Nick. because we want to celebrate you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Man, that is awesome. So, hey, you know how we end it, right, Nick? We end it the same way all the time. We wish everybody a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. We want you to come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. And your beach can be wherever you find your personal freedom and the ability to be 100% you. Our beach right now happens to be Zanzibar, but your beach can be as simple as a pumpkin patch like I had with my daughters last weekend. So turn it over to you, Nick, and we out of here. God bless, keep great health, and keep applying the 4 dirty little words. Number 1, discipline. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, plug into the 7 spheres of money system. And number 4, go to work, not for 2 to 5 days, not for 2 to 5 weeks, not for 2 to 5 months, but 2 to 5 years. And if you do that, there's no way you will never make less than $250,000 a year. You'll be debt free. You'll pay off your house in 7 to 10 years, and you'll have a first-rate you and not a second-rate somebody. And you'll be exactly where you're supposed to be, and you'll have all the peace and all the tranquility that God wanted you to have. So I'm DJ the Money Coach. Thanks for watching us on Friday Family Finance. On behalf of our awesome manager, Nick Westbrooks, we'll see you on the next beach. Ain't that right, Nick?
That's right. We'll see you then.
How do you crush the recession?
2008 is the answer. Black to the Future is the solution with DJ the Money Coach. 2 consultations, 2 master classes, 800 credit score. Build business credit from 0 to 100 grand in 3 months or less. Earn $8,333 a month in passive income for $20. Hit it and crush it with DJ Money. So, Mr. Shea, we appreciate you. Can you come back onto our platform? Man, we're excited, and I hope you can take back this electricity and tell Karan we rock the house here at DJ the Money Coach.
Yeah, I've been listening to everything. It's super dope what you guys have been talking about, and happy to be here. So how are we going to do this, DJ the Money Coach? We're going to take some.
Yeah, we're just going to do it fluid, and if you want to share with them a couple of little other, carrots on what the product and the service we can help them, we're going to put the link up and how we can get them onboarded. Some people are been in business for 3-4 years. Some people are literally getting started, Shay. Some are transitioning. So what we'll do is let you pop out a couple of ideas. So from somebody that's thinking the difference between an LLC to an S corp and taking elimination of self-employment tax and also Social Security, what would be the first advice you would recommend to them as the expert in the industry?
Yeah, well, I would tell them, so this thing about finances, right? There's 3 sides of the triangle. You have banking, which I'm on, you have legal, and you have kind of the tax, right? So banking, legal, tax. So what I tell owners, you want to take that to your business attorney or CPA, and I would expand that question around your most 3 important people that you want to kind of be around. I heard a couple of our other coaches say this tonight. You want to build a good relationship with a bookkeeper, CPA, banker, and for sake of your question, attorney.
And now we're going to actually have our, master property management team that's known as Noir Invest. These gentlemen are running some very successful multi-units across the country, and they collectively have over 20-30 units personally in their business portfolio, and they also are managing our Zanzibar project.
I'll kind of just talk a little bit overview of how we financed properties. As Jonathan was saying, we've purchased cash. We've done the VA loan, so that's for primary residence. 1 to 4 unit, you can use a VA loan. So how we got started is the concept called house hacking. You probably heard of it, where you live in 1 unit and you rent out the other 3. So that's kind of how we got into the multifamily space. but the VA loan kind of allows you to have that 0% down ability.